And also, oh no! My carrots bag ripped and the carrots have run amok. Hello, welcome to my kitchen. Welcome to my cute little air fryer, which today we are going to use. In fact, we're going to use 2 air fryers today. This is a very exciting day. Actually, I often use 2 air fryers. Today, we are going to make sweet and sour vegetables with rice. And I'm excited you're here. This is an easy to digest recipe that is gluten-free, plant-based, and very easy to digest for those of us who have digestive disorders of various kinds. Maybe IBS, maybe Crohn's disease or colitis. Maybe you just have an irritable stomach that needs some help. Not only are the recipes that you will see on this channel healthy for you, for the most part, but they are a little easier to digest because I personally have Crohn's disease and I have adapted or created all of these recipes that work well for my particular digestion. Please keep in mind, some of these things may not work for you. This recipe is going to contain bell peppers. Bell peppers are a trigger food for my friend Jen, who has IBS. For me, they're one of the best things that I can eat. I can even eat some bits of bell pepper raw, which is the big no-no for me usually when it comes to fruits and vegetables. Come with me. Let's make delicious sweet and sour vegetables together. First of all, we're going to start some rice. We're going to put some brown rice into this pot. I make a lot because I do not mind having leftovers. In fact, I think it's a brilliant thing. I'm going to add a few red lentils to this pot because it cooks equally fast as the rice and it adds some extra protein to this meal, which doesn't have a huge amount of protein in it. I'm not overly concerned about protein, but I think it's a good thing to add some to every meal. Let me get some water. We are going to let this boil while we make the rest of this meal. In case you're wondering about the wooden spoon, I don't usually use wooden spoons for cooking. I don't like how gunky they get and how hard they are to wash. So I use stainless steel, like these. However, what they are really, really good for is preventing a pot from overflowing if it's boiling too hot. So the bubble, it's magical. I'll have to overboil something for you sometime just to show you how it works because it's crazy. It just, not forever, but for a while, it will stop the overflow right here where the spoon is. So I always put a wooden spoon on top of a pot when I boil potatoes or rice or anything else along those lines. This is Alistair. Look at his handsome face. Yes, this is his whale Wanda that he always carries around when he's feeling lonely. So now he has his own little sous chef chair. Your mama sous chef. On to the next part of our recipe. First, whoa, I got a little vigorous there. First of all, we need to skin some potatoes. Now, I have made up this recipe myself. The sauce I did not make up. It is for a different recipe, though. And I decided the sauce was so good. I had been craving and attempting to make a sweet and sour sauce for many years, like the ones I used to find in Chinese restaurants. Chinese food is absolutely, at least in America, I assume not in China, but in America, Chinese food is drenched in oil. Almost everything is fried, and there's a lot of oil, which I already said, but I said it twice because there is so much oil. So it's very hard on the guts at least on my guts. Maybe your guts wouldn't have a problem with it, but mine did. I really wanted that sauce. Their sauces are just the best. So many delicious flavors. Of course, a lot of recipes in Chinese restaurants are very spicy, which is not for me any longer, sadly, because of Crohn's disease. Well, the one thing I could make was a sweet and sour sauce. And I finally found the recipe that seems to do the trick for me. I think it's delicious, and it makes me not miss going out to eat at Chinese restaurants, which I did for a long time. There's still a salad from Pei Wei that I miss, but because it's a salad with lots of lettuce in it, and because the sauce was a sweet and spicy sauce, that one is not going to work for me, but I still miss it, and that's okay. I would rather miss it and be healthy and not have stomach pains than eat it, be unhealthy, and have stomach pains. Sometimes you just have to choose the best option out of two imperfect options. I have peeled, during this little discussion, 7 potatoes. I'm going to peel one more because this one is very small. So the reason why I made my own recipe is because I think that if I'm going to make something sweet and spicy, that whatever is in there with the vegetables needs to be crunchy. I don't want wimpy, limp everything. I want something in there that has some crunch to it. So I created crunchy potato cubes, which give me that crunch. You might also choose to use tofu. Until recently, I have not had tofu in my life because I have a soy intolerance. It gives me horrible shooting joint pains for some crazy reason. And in fact, I recently read an article that suggested that some of the receptors in the body that process gluten can get confused about soy. So it may be that my celiac disease is also affecting the way that I would process soy. But whether or not that is the case, I do not eat it in spite of how healthy it is, because I do not like having shooting joint pains. But now, very smart people are making tofu out of things, beans, that are not soy. In fact, I have one in my fridge right now that's made out of fava beans, I think. I'm excited to try that, but I'm not going to try it in this recipe because I would like to try it before. Well, maybe it would be fun to try it together, and I could let you know what I think. We are just putting all of these little cubes onto the air fryer pan. I'm hoping to make a nice smooth pile of them so that everybody has their chance in the sun, i.e. under the sizzling hot fryer part of the air fryer. I want them to be all brown and very crunchy because that will give them the best texture. If you do choose to use tofu in this recipe, I'd be happy to know how it went. I am going to try it one day in place of some of the potatoes. I will probably still do potatoes, but also the tofu. I really want to eat tofu, even though it's not soy tofu, because it's very healthy food. Typically, it has a good amount of calcium in it, which is something that can be difficult to get sometimes on just plants. But as I have mentioned before, I have no ovaries, and I have been without them since I was 27, even though I have had add back estrogen and other hormones. I always think about doing things that are healthy for my bones. And calcium is one of those things. I would like to reiterate while I'm chopping, once again, I feel like every time I'm chopping, I should reiterate this, that I realize that most videos these days are 3 minutes long or shorter. And I realize that all of the platforms are pushing people to do shorter and shorter videos. And one of the reasons for this is because it makes people scroll longer. However, I do not wish to be part of that process. I do wish to share healing recipes and lifestyle tips that have helped me to achieve remission from Crohn's without medication, long-term remission without medication, but I do not wish to be part of an unhealthy process of getting people even more addicted to technology. So it is unlikely that I will be posting any short form videos, and I myself will be trying to watch fewer short form videos as well. So I hope that this channel can be a place where we can gather together to prepare food in a peaceful, meditative way. Okay, I have a nice group of potatoes. 7 was a good guess. And I'm going to put them in the air fryer on 400, and I'm going to stir them every 7 to 10 minutes to make sure all the different sides get their time in the sun. We just had a little bit of a rice crisis because I neglected to check on it. Got a little stuck to the bottom, but I rescued it. Never fear. We're going to start chopping vegetables now. And if you are feeling especially tired on one particular day, oh, I forgot to start this air fryer. Okay, you might hear that going, but hopefully you'll mostly hear me because of my fancy mic. Sometimes you might think, I am too tired and sick to do all this chopping. And I am here to tell you that you can buy all of these items pre-chopped. And I would recommend that if you're feeling very especially tired. I don't recommend frozen vegetables for this particular recipe, this particular part of this recipe, because they are too juicy to go, when they thaw, to go in the air fryer and fry up crispy, which to me is important in this recipe. So I recommend getting the fresh ones for this one, but still, most grocery stores have fresh peppers and onions and carrots already chopped for you. So you do not have to feel that all of this chopping is a huge burden and you just can't do it. I understand. I have been in my life much, much sicker than I am now, and standing up for 10 minutes to do any sort of task was far too much for me at that time. I did eat a lot of smoothies. I did a lot of simple things like rice, those rice thin crackers, and I would put hummus and some cabbage and a tomato on top. And that made a very nice little sandwich that was pretty healthy as well. If you're wondering what I do with all these scraps, our community has a composting for food scraps program. So once or twice a week, I drop off my bag of compost at the compost sites. In a previous city I lived in, here in Minnesota, they actually picked up compost in a special bin, but my current city does not, so we have to drop it off. That's okay. It's well worth it. And then in fact, they make a really rich composted soil from it, which you can go and pick up for your garden. I think that's a lovely thing to do. I'm glad that my city is a little little progressive in that regard. It's kind of fun in this recipe to have multiple colors of peppers. I don't have any yellow. I don't like green, but I do have orange and red. So I'm putting them in the little bed of my other air fryer, the smaller air fryer. And also, oh no! My carrots bag ripped, and the carrots have run amok. They have gone everywhere. That's okay, I have hands, I can pick them up. I'm imagining an outtakes video in a while with all the messes that I make while I am filming cooking videos, because I am certain there will be many. This may be one reason why children enjoy cooking with me, because I'm not surprised when they make a mess. I'm surprised if they don't, because I also make messes. I think it's part of the joy, because cooking is such a sensory experience. A lot of the kids, all the kids that I work with have different developmental needs, and they need to experience a lot of sensory textures. Some of them need to experience it because they want to and they need more of that, they crave it. Some of them need to experience it because they want to avoid those feelings, in which case we need to slowly expose them. If you would like to know more about that, I have a whole other channel where I talk about child development. In my real life, I am a speech language pathologist, and I have worked for 25 years with kids who have developmental differences, mostly autism, but also other diagnoses. Sometimes no diagnosis, just difficulties. And now I wrote a curriculum, and I work with churches to help them figure out how to have appropriate programming for kids of all abilities. I will put my website down below just in case anyone finds that interesting. This is too many carrots, so I'm going to put the rest of these, well, this bag is no longer any good, but I'll put them in there for now, and I will find a separate container for them at a later time. Okay, now the carrots are in there. Now we're going to cut up some onion. This is a lot of talking. This is a lot of chatting. Good thing that we are enjoying the meditative process of cooking together. I think we have lost something because we're always in a hurry. I mean, obviously, we have lost something. This onion looks like it has a little bit of elderliness on it, so I'm going to cut that part off. There, all better. Our society is too fast-paced, and I think the tension of that is bad for our health, and definitely is one of the things that helped me to not be healthy anymore. I think our whole lifestyle has to kind of shift in order for us to heal from really serious things. But that's a scary thing, because we don't know how to live slow lives. And in fact, I'd rather not. I would rather be fast-paced, accomplishing mega things all the time. But I can't be healthy if I do that. I kind of believe nobody can be healthy if we do that. I prefer red onions, by the way. But the store I went to didn't have any on that particular day, so I have white. And now I'm going to put these in the air fryer. I think I'm going to put them at 375. This is all going to depend on your air fryer. You just have to really keep an eye on stuff when you're putting it in the air fryer, because you just do not know how it's going to work with any particular vegetables. Especially vegetables have different water at different times of year. So I'm going to cook these at 375, and I'm going to check them every 10 minutes, very much like the potatoes. You're going to laugh. Okay, I'm holding the tripod. You're going to laugh about this, but this, I do not recommend this air fryer for various reasons, but the door won't stay closed anymore. So I have to put this canister there to keep it shut. But as long as I do that, it works just fine. Now we are going to make the sweet and sour sauce. This is the best part of this recipe. I still have a little piece of onion on me. We're going to start out with sugar. I've mentioned before, sugar is not my nemesis. If I'm going to stick with a healthy pattern of eating, then it's not going to be perfect, because I will fall off the wagon, and then I will go back to something that's even less healthy. We're going to put in 3/4 of a cup of sugar. Ooh. Okay. Excellent. Now this is wet. And then we're going to put in 1/2 cup of vinegar. That's the tangy part. I have this huge container of vinegar for making pickles, coleslaw, and sweet and sour sauce. And of course, it's also good for cleaning. Now we need soy sauce, but as I have mentioned, I do not use soy. So we're going to use coconut aminos. I get this brand, Coconut Secret. It has less sodium, not no sodium. So keep that in mind if you are concerned about your blood pressure. Mine is okay. Oh, it's time to check on the potatoes. Let's see what's happening with them. This is how they look so far. I'm going to stir them up and put them back in. I think I need some more spatulas. Whoops, potatoes on the floor. They always escape. Okay, they're going back in for another 10 minutes. And now we will put 2 tablespoons of coconut aminos in the pot. Excellent. What's next? Garlic powder. Delicious. Where's my garlic? Where is my garlic? Here it is. Oh, I forgot. I wanted to put the rest of this can of corn in with my vegetables, so I'm going to put that in right now. I had this left over from making a different meal earlier. So now we have some corn in there too. That'll be delicious. But of course, there's more on the floor. What fun would it be if we had nothing going on the floor? It would be lame. Now we're back to the garlic. Here it is. We're putting in 1 teaspoon. Okay. Now we're going to put in 1/2 teaspoon of onion and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. That was the onion. This is the salt. Now we're going to put in 1/4 cup ketchup. I don't know how they do this in restaurants, but my 1/4 cups are kind of, actually, yeah, no. My quarter cups are all dirty, so we're using 1/8 of a cup 2 times. Do you like math? Because cooking will help you get better at math. And it will help you be more flexible because you don't always have the ingredients that you need for any particular thing. Need a spoon. And a whisk. I'm going to whisk this up and I'm going to bring it to a boil. Okay, it's all whisked together. Now I'm going to bring it to boil. Oh, sorry, my hair got in the mic. I'll say it again in case that was all gunky because of my hair. It's all mixed up. I'm going to bring it to a boil while I do something else. And that something else is I'm going to get some arrowroot powder. You can also use cornstarch or potato starch. They're all a little bit different, but not that different. And we are going to put it, I don't measure this out usually. I probably should. I'm going to put about a tablespoon in this bowl. Oops. Ting. Time for meditation. I'm going to put it about in this bowl, and then I'm going to put some water in there. This is going to be the thickener for our sweet and sour sauce. Doesn't look thick now. The reason you put the cornstarch in the water instead of directly into the sauce is because it would make chunks. It would get clumpy if you just put the arrowroot powder directly into the sauce. So what we need to do instead is we need to mix it into the water first, and then put that mixture into the pot, and then it won't get gunky. We're going to bring this to a boil, and then I'll be back. Okay, it's bubbling. I'm going to give this another little whisk. Now we're going to stir it. I can already feel it's getting thicker. Turning down the heat to about a 3. It was at an 8. And we're testing. I'm testing to see if I added enough of the arrowroot powder or if I need to make it a little thicker. In which case I can do what I did with the arrowroot and the water another time. Making sure that as it thickens, it does not get stuck to the bottom of the pan because that's no fun. It's thicker, but not, very tasty. It's thicker, but not as thick as I want it. Turning the heat up to 5. We're going to let it bubble a little bit and see what happens. In the meantime, I have been busily cleaning up after myself because I'm the kind of cook who likes to clean as I go. So I have loaded all the pans and silverware that I've used to stir and measure into the dishwasher. And by the way, if you notice that our dishwasher was sticking out more than is usual, and if you notice that there were cords coming from underneath it, well, good eye. That is because we had a small leak from under there, and we had to pull it out and put some little fans under there to dry it out. And it is still in process with that a bit. And ooh, now that is a nice boil for a nice sauce. And soon we will be able to put the dishwasher back where it belongs. But in the meantime, oh, look at that sauce. It's bubbling like candy. And that is because there is so much sugar in it. If you have trouble with sugar, this might not be the sauce for you. You could just use a mixture of soy sauce or coconut aminos and some maple syrup maybe, and that would probably be also delicious. All right, I am not sure how thick I want this. Let's test with the spoon. I definitely want it thicker than that. I might have to do another batch of the arrowroot. Maybe just a half batch, or maybe I'll just let it boil a little bit longer. I'm going to check on the potatoes and see what we think. Now they look like this. I'm going to stir them up again. Give them another 10 minutes. Although I am going to turn down the heat now to about 350. Trying to make sure all the undone bits sort of are more facing the top. It's impossible with so many little babies in this pan, but that's better. Now I'm going to check on these veggies over here. This is how they're looking, so obviously they need a stir. And I need to turn the heat on these, ooh, it's hot, up a little bit because they are still not very done. I really like these to be brown and blackened on the edges because I think it's delicious. Okay, going back in the air fryer. No, our sauce is not thickening enough, so we are going to add some more arrowroot. Just going to kind of sprinkle it in my bowl. Add a little, I might have added too much water last time. I will not make that mistake again. Although it's not really a mistake. Well, I sprinkle, yes. We'll clean that up in a minute. Okay, so we have cleaned it up right now. There. There's a good reason to always have a towel. Just like the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy tells us. Oh yes, this is much better. I can feel the resistance of the sauce on my whisk. And now, that is so much better. I will let it thicken slightly by boiling a little bit more, and then the sauce will be done. The rice with a few lentils in it is done, and soon the things in the air fryers will be done. So we will have ourselves a delicious meal, and it's a meal that's going to last us for a good number of meals because there will be leftovers. Delicious. I love leftovers. I've turned the heat off. I'm going to remove this from the heat now so that it does not get too thick. And I will be back when everything is done. Everything's ready. Hooray! I have dished up the rice. Look at how beautiful these potatoes are. Nice and crunchy, see? And then, ow, that potato burnt my finger. We're going to put some crispy things on. We're going to put some nice vegetables all over the top. And then, this is my secret. Oh no, where's my secret? Aha! Now we're going to put on some of this delicious sauce. So good. I mean, look at that. How could you not love it? I mean, if you don't like bell peppers and you don't like tangy things, then this is probably not for you. Here's the secret. Sesame seeds. Keep them in the freezer so they do not go rancid. If you're really fancy, you'll have some green onions and you can slice those and put them on top. But for now, this is the delicious sweet and sour vegetables with crunchy potatoes. Delicious. Thanks for cooking with me today.